Another Friday, another Jolum's movie review. I am Jolum. I decided to not do any more Death Wish films since Death Wish 5 was obviously forgettable. So today I'm going to be doing something different. I'm going to be covering a superhero movie for the first time ever. It's going to be called Swamp Thing from 1982. When you're done watching this video, you can go back and watch all the previous movie reviews I've done in the description box. The playlist is there. Now on with the video. Swamp Thing is a 1982 American superhero film written and directed by Wes Craven. It's based on the DC comic character of the same name, created by Len Wein and Bertie Wrightson. It tells the story of scientist Alec Holland, played by Ray Wise, who is transformed into a monster known as the Swamp Thing, played by Dick Durock, through a laboratory sabotage orchestrated by the evil Anton Arcane, played by Louis Jourdan, a French actor. Later, he helps a woman by the name of Alice Cable, played by Adrienne Barbeau, and battles the man responsible for it all, the ruthless Anton Arcane. The film did well on home video and cable, and was followed by a sequel called Return of the Swamp Thing in 1989. The writing of the film must have taken place in 79 or 80, and the film must have taken place sometime in 1981-ish. Who knows? But in writing the film, Wes Craven referenced Werner Herzog's 1974 film, The Enigma of Caspar Hauser, which was originally called Every Man for Himself and God Against All. Another mercenary says the line to the character named Bruno in Enigma. The lead character was played by Bruno Schlessenstein, also known as Bruno S. Filming occurred primarily on a location at Cypress Gardens, Monk Center, South Carolina. Wes Craven was very proud in delivering the film on time on a budget of $2.5 million. When a scientist is mysteriously killed while assisting a top-secret bioengineering project, a government worker by the name of Alice Cable arrives at the bogs to serve as his replacement. Alice immediately notices that one of the team's swamp sensors has malfunctioned. Harry Ritter reveals that her predecessor was attempting to repair it when he was killed. Charlie tells Ritter a rumor about an evil paramilitary leader by the name of Anton Arcane, who intends to hijack their operation. Alice introduces herself to Dr. Linda Holland and her brother, lead scientist Dr. Alec Holland, who takes her on a tour and encourages her to admire the beauty of the swamps. After noticing the disappearance of one of their co-workers, the group hears a loud bang and returns to the laboratory, where Linda shows her recent breakthrough, a glowing plant-based concoction, with explosive properties. Sometime later, Alec notices that droplets of Linda's formula spawn rapid plant growth on the surfaces they touched. Suddenly, a group of paramilitary agents attack her and raid Alec's laboratory. A man resembling Ritter steps forward but pulls off his mask to reveal himself as Arcane. When Arcane shoots Linda for attempting to escape with the formula, Alex grabs the beaker but trips, causing the spilled chemicals to set him on fire. He runs outside and dives into the swamp to extinguish the flames as a series of explosions burst from the water. Overnight, Arcane's henchmen destroy the premises and remove all evidence of the team's work. At dawn, the henchman captures Alice and attempts to drown her in the swamp, but a green human-like creature rescues her. Meanwhile, in his mansion, Arcane and his secretary realize that Alec's most recent notebook is missing. Alice runs to the nearby gas station to telephone her employees for help. The operator connects to Ritter, who claims to have already been called away from the site before the attack. After revealing she stole Alex's last notebook, Alice waits for Ritter's return alongside a young gas station attendant by the name of Jude. But Arcane's men arrive and chase her through the forest. Suddenly, the green humanoid creature, referred to as the Swamp Thing, appears again and scares the pursuers away. Alice and Jude boat around the swamp until they reach the dock near the laboratory wreckage. Multiple boats of Arcane's men close in on Alice and Jude, luring the creature from its hiding place among the reeds. Despite their bullets and grenades, the Swamp Thing engineers an elaborate boat crash. Moments after instructing Jude to escape with Alex's notebook, Alice hears the boy cry out in distress, but she is kidnapped before she can reply. The Swamp Thing finds Jude's lifeless body and presses a hand against his head, creating a greenish glow, which instantly revives him. Regaining consciousness, Jude realizes that the creature is a friend of Alice's, and gives it the notebook for safekeeping. On Arcane's boat, Alice throws her kidnapper, Ferret, overboard, then dives into the water to swim ashore. Once on land, Alice bumps into the Swamp Thing, which the creature calls out her name. Ferret chops off the Swamp Thing's arm with a machete, but the creature easily crushes Ferret's skull, causing Alice to faint. She awakens in the monster's embrace. The Swamp Thing speaks to her as she recognizes it as Alec. Arcane's men follow her and capture the Swamp Thing in a net and retrieve the final notebook. That evening, Arcane invites Alice to a formal dinner party, celebrating his duplication of the Holland's formula, moments after giving a toast to his prospective immortality. Arcane reveals that he secretly slipped the first dose to Bruno, who begins to convulse. The hulking man's body shrinks into half its size as he grows pointed ears and a misshapen skull. Arcane locks him in a dungeon alongside the Swamp Thing, asking the latter creature why the experiment failed. The Swamp Thing reveals that the formula does not produce strength, but instead amplifies a person's natural qualities, explaining that Bruno's timidly caused his diminished stature. After locking Alice in a dungeon with him, Arcane returns to his study and drinks a glass of the formula. A beam of sunlight emitted through the door regrows the Swamp Thing's missing arm, allowing the creature to free itself, Alice, and Bruno. Upstairs, Arcane transforms into a hairy boar-like beast and ascends to the dungeons. Therefore, he discovers that his captors have escaped through an underwater tunnel leading back to the swamp. Sometime later, Alice and the Swamp Thing emerge from the water, followed closely by Arcane, who stabs Alice with a sword. The Swamp Thing revives Alice, then kills Arcane. The creature then leaves, but Alice pleads for him to stay, but so that she can help him rebuild his work. He refuses, but promises to return to her soon, as they watch the Swamp Thing lumber away through the marsh. And the movie. Swamp Thing was released on February 19th, 1982, through Embassy Pictures in the United States, United Artists internationally. The film received mixed to positive reviews from critics. On the review aggregator website known as Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 60% based on 40 reviews, with the average rating of 5.6 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, "Unabashed campy, often to its detriment, Swamp Thing is not without its charms, among them Adrienne Barbeau's The Damsel in Distress." Roger Ebert gave the film 3 out of 4 stars. Wow. I don't know how it did in the box office. I can't tell you the figure. I really don't know, to be honest. So, you just have to take my word for it. My overall rating for Swamp Thing is a 75 out of 100. I don't even know why the hell this movie was rated PG instead of being rated R for some reason. This is the first time I ever did a PG-rated movie review. Ever. And to be honest with you, I hope I never do another one for quite some time. I looked at this movie and I was saying to myself, this is a similar formula to when Paul Verhoeven did RoboCop in 1987 and Sam Raimi did Darkman 3 years later. Well, that is just my opinion on Swamp Thing. What is yours? You can leave your comments in the comment section below. This has been Joe Lump's movie review.